Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Mr. Rector, honorable guests, dear colleagues, it's my pleasure as the director of this program to open this conference on security, democracy and development in the Southern Caucasus and the Black Sea region. In fact, the opening here is being given by a Troika. First, I will make a couple of remarks on the program and on this conference, and then my colleague Roy Allison, with whom we have been discussing a lot in the last years on the topic of this conference, will make a couple of remarks on the topics we are dealing with, and then we will have the pleasure also to give the floor to Rector of Kadir Has University, and then we will start with the first keynote speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, already the fact that so many of you found the way to Istanbul shows that this conference starts also with successfully, and I could also say that this is also a success for our program. I can say a couple of words about that. And as you can see on the program, that we were able really to invite and to attract a lot of distinguished people, and also you could also see that we could invite a lot of many younger scholars from many countries to make a presentation in this conference. You found also in your documents just a remark on a corrigendum. There have been some changes in the program, and you see these changes have been added as a corrigendum, as a separate sheet in your document. So don't be surprised if there will be some changes in your panels. Just have a look at this corrigendum. Yes. Then our conference is of course a conference on social sciences, and then always like to start with a quotation. And since we are in Istanbul, I found this book, which is already has been written a couple of years ago, but still the main quotation is still valid. On the whole, the Black Sea world has been caused to an abundance of power and not to a scarcity of power. And I wouldn't say that this is a motto almost a motto for our conference, that whether there is too much power and too much bad power and not enough good power in this region. Now the problem is, the question is not if this is right or not, but this is an observation coming from social scientists, and that is what our conference is about. The question, how do social sciences and also humanities deal with this region, with Southern Caucasus and the wider Black Sea region, and all its challenges, all its problems we have been presenting as a relationship between democracy, the challenge of democracy, the challenge of development, and the challenge of security. Now, you certainly all want to know how all this started. This conference has a history, and it all started at least 3-4 years ago, and it started, of course, after this little war between Georgia and that should be wrote, just to quote the title of the book, and together with our Georgian colleagues at that time, 2009, it was also the time when we started our program, the ASCN program. We wanted to organize an interesting conference, and a social science conference, and then slowly we saw that it would be necessary to extend the whole thing, and we wanted to prepare a bigger conference. So it took us, as you can see, 3 years. So from Yalta till Istanbul, it took a long way, so to say. Yeah. Now this conference, and this is very important, is a part of the ASCN program. What is ASCN? You could see that already in your document. It's a Swiss program. and it's Academic Swiss Caucasus Net, which is aiming at promoting social sciences and humanities in Southern Caucasus. We have an annual budget of 1.5 million of euro, and it's an initiative of a private foundation, the Roof Foundation, in cooperation with my University of Fribourg. Our partners in the regions are State Region University in Tbilisi and the Caucasus Institute in Yerevan. What are the main objectives of ASCN? That is important because it helps you also to understand the format of our conference. We want to contribute to the development of social science and medicine in South Caucasus. It's certainly the most important goal. And we want to support to a new generation of researchers and future decision makers, also excellent researchers. Also the networking component is also one of the objectives in this program, and last but not least, it has also a Swiss component, also strengthen Eastern Europe components within Switzerland. Now we are trying to realize these objectives through different activity lines. One is we are financing research projects. Another one is capacity building, a very important aspect involving methodological seminars, summer school, and others. Third one is a conference strategy, like this one here, related on security, conflict resolution, identities, and so on. And of course, also we are also encouraging bilateral academic initiatives between Switzerland and the Southern Caucasus. And the last one, this very important one, we are also financing publications with regard to Southern Caucasus. So this is here you see how these different lines, activity lines are connected to each other, research, capacity building, and scholarship, and all that to contribute to what is missing the most in this region, the internationalization of social sciences and humanities of social Caucasus. So here just a couple of figures. Up to date, we started in 2009, and up to so far we have 5 research projects which have been completed. 26 are ongoing, and all of them are involving more than 120 scholars. And among them we have more than 40 PhD students. Second one is also, we have been very successful also with the scholarship program in Swiss universities. More than 70 junior scholars have been visiting in the last couple of years different Swiss universities. And the third one, capacity building. So far we have organized 11 methodological trainings conducted since 2010, also involving more. So you see this, it is not just peanuts, it is a substantial program dealing with a lot of aspects. And the question is always, why are we dealing with, why we are promoting social sciences? And here I'm just quoting the director of this foundation, Philip Becker. Thanks to him, we are also here. We were able to finance all these different initiatives. And by the way, this I can say that it is right through. It's also part of the brochure. You can find it in your documents. So research in the social sciences and humanities is of particular relevance to the transition process. It can help identify the need for reform in sectors critical to our country's development. It can also help address challenges and identify possible solutions in areas essential for our country's political stability and social economic development. This is the brochure, you have it in your documents, and I think it's very important because in many countries, especially particularly governments and also from Caucasus still Balkans, have doubts whether social sciences and humanities are of any importance for explaining what's going on in the country. So we could agree, or at least this is my opinion, social sciences can be considered and should be considered as agents of change. If we are saying that society is about communication and changing the way social scientists are intervening publicly on social problems, then it means also that they have a potential to change society. Particularly by increasing social awareness of actual problems, social sciences are also multiplying options and ways to handle them. In that sense, they have potential to change society. And I think this is strongly linked, and we're going to discuss also about that, that strong democratic societies go together with strong social sciences. Undemocratic societies are going together with bad or with weak social sciences. I'm pretty much convinced about that. So if you promote social science, and this is also the aim of this conference here, we are also contributing to strengthening of social relevance and resonance for social sciences. You have seen just a couple of words on the conference objects. They are just related to what I've said. First, provide opportunities for researchers dealing with this area here to engage, to be a part of networks, to make changes, and to discuss their research projects, papers, and findings. The most important goal of this conference. Secondly, analyze evolving state level, regional, border, international processes. I will speak about that. Present new scholarship and allow the exchange of ideas from a wide variety of national, theoretical, and intellectual perspectives. And also bring together policymakers and researchers and enable fruitful exchanges between the world of science and policy making. And if things go well, we are also planning to publish at least 1 or 2 books on the findings with the papers of this. And also you can see also that if you were studying closely this program, you can see that the originality of this conference is on a mix of different levels of communications, I would say. Not only we have keynote speeches, we have honorable speakers who will present afterwards their views. And we have also 9 panels distributed on 2 days with presentations and discussions coming from young scholars of different countries. And the new thing is that we have 3 roundtables. First one will start this evening on actual political and geopolitical issues, Turkey, conflict, Southern Caucasus, future challenges for Southern Caucasus, and so on. And also the last one, but not least, a special session on partnership. Now, this is almost through. A word of thanks to our supporters and partners. First of all, to this distinguished university, Kadir Has University. First of all, I'd like to thank the Professor Mustafa Aydin, for the rector of this university, for hosting us, for giving us this possibility to organize this conference here at this university. Then also Professor Dimitri Trafilou, sorry, Professor spelling is, who has done a great job in helping us preparing this conference. And of course, Halden Selimoglu, who has been working with Penina Flaw to organize and prepare this conference. And of course, this is the last I would like to express my thanks to our supporters and partners, first of all the Kadir Roof Foundation, then the State Secretary for Education and Research, and of course to my dear colleague, Denis Affron, the coordinator of ASCN program, who has done an absolutely fantastic job, and it's thanks to him that we put together such a superb program. Thank you very much, and then I can give the floor to Roy Allison. Okay?
Thank you. Well, I'd like to reinforce the delight on behalf of the ASCN to extend my association with the Academic Swiss Caucasus Net that this event is now at the point of fruition. We've worked for a couple of years towards this, and the magnificent location and wonderful facilities here really, I think, will spur on our efforts in the next couple of days. So we're very grateful of the opportunity to be here to allow us to discuss and debate the themes we will. I'd like to spend a few minutes just expanding on some of the themes that we've asked contributors, the paper givers, to address really quite briefly. This is an interdisciplinary event. Some of the scholars will be firmly located in one discipline, others will be working between disciplines. The idea is to present new scholarship, new ideas, exchange ideas from a wide variety of national, theoretical and intellectual perspectives. More will emerge out of that exchange. And we suggested a number of broad church topics. The first, democracy, political structure, regime and state composition. I mean, here I think our interest is very much in the nature of political arrangements, their distinct characteristics. Of course, democratization is an important part of that, but not, it isn't simply encompassed in debates on democratization. All this is particularly topical now, of course, because of the elections in Georgia, but I think we will seek to go beyond the immediate and the single state analysis, look actually at developments in the region. Takes us to the second theme of governance, achievements, the obstacles, the incentives, the limits of conditionality. I think this is really about the role of external agency, of international bodies in promoting development within the region. And what is the appropriate role? What are the obstacles? What is achievable? And then thirdly, we invited papers on political discourses and identity configurations, transformations of political and social identities. I think this is necessary to enhance our understanding of political evolution and change, and really interaction between the political and the social, between the polity and the society, both at elite and popular levels. And in referring to elites, we decided that it would be good to look a little at the role of elites specifically. Feel that elites have had a very important role in framing debates, agendas, positions on foreign affairs. We might even say it's largely elite-driven, or is it? What are the main cleavages and divisions within elites? How can we conceptualize this? On security, we would like to take quite a broad approach. Understandings of security, different understandings of security, regime security, human security, regional security, thinking beyond sort of narrow military concerns about security. Security as a public good, perhaps rather than as a mean to maintain particular governments or political leaders in power. Ethnic communities and networks, transnationalism and security. Well, these transnational influences have had a particular significance in the South Caucasus and indeed the Black Sea region as a whole, and we felt that it is important to try and find ways intellectually to address this field of work. The conflicts, strategies for conflict management, role of international organisation, changing drivers of conflict, unrecognised or semi-recognised states. How have the dynamics changed? I mean, particularly since 2008. Do we have to think in terms of different templates? Is new thinking required to address the entrenched differences? Is this possible when governments change? Topical now. Regionalism, multilateral engagement, sub-regional processes, Black Sea synergy, the role of the EU in all of this. This is a very wide area of work. It's a large field for research, of course. We may well ask whether regionalism should be defined just by institutional linkages, some view it like that, by identity. Can we think in terms like regional identities emerging, or by functional cooperation, a more kind of transactional view of regionalism? There's a great deal here to work, and I think that this topic of regionalism lends itself particularly to understanding of the Black Sea as a region. This will be addressed by our first keynote speaker. Coming towards the end, we did then also suggest regional powers, a geopolitical context transformation. And there is, of course, so much written on geopolitics. Turkey's new regional role. And here we feel it's particularly apt to be here, to discuss that Turkey has raised its regional profile and is likely to continue in interesting ways. What will be the impact of events in the Middle East? These are spilling over in various ways. There will be unforeseen consequences. How can Turkey manage this? Will there be spillover in some way into the South Caucasus as well? There's a great deal of interest in these kind of issues, many topical ways of approaching them. Of course, there is a problem about how to analyse fast-moving events and processes in a scholarly manner, beyond the kind of simple think tank and immediate policy prescriptive approaches we find so often in writing on this. And the final topic we suggested was resources and development strategies, energy policy, energy dependence, external relationships. I think this is really about the long term. If we're looking over a medium-term time horizon, and addresses the development theme, developmental issues, which is one of the key themes of the conference. The impacts of wider international economic processes and trends on the region. To what extent does the South Caucasus and Black Sea absorb these influences? What extent can it actually be more an active motor of economic development and progress in the region, whether Turkey can help drive this process, for example. So those are just some thoughts I had to, in a very small way, flesh out those themes that you received in the conference literature. With that, I'd like to invite the director of Kadir Has University, Mustafa Aydin, to say a few words about the university and what we will be doing.
Thank you, Roy. It's up to me now to welcome you to the Kadir Has University. It's really a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and so many young faces at Kadir Has who's going to talk about Black Sea and Caucasus. Those of you who know me already know that these two regions are dear, and they are both of regions that are interest professionally of my studies. So it's very gratifying to see young scholars who's working on Black Sea and Caucasus issues to come to the Kadir Has University, where I've been fortunate or unfortunate working on other side of the fence. Nowadays I don't have much time to look into what's happening in the Caucasus and Black Sea, but in recent months, about just a couple of weeks ago, when I had to look back to give a speech, I sadly see that nothing has changed in Caucasus and Black Sea. Those of the problems that emerged in early 1990s are still there. None of them solved, and almost none of them gives any hope of solution in the near future for the satisfaction of the regional people. We were told at the beginning of 1990s, when there were newly independent countries in these regions, that these countries were in transition, presumably in transition to democracy, to economic development, and to security. After 20 years, when we look back all those years and see where they are, they seem to be still in transition. So the countries of the region and the people of the region seem to be stuck in this transition. We are still transiting towards democracy, towards liberal economy and development, and also towards security. It's very apt, of course, to put these three themes together, because at least on my mind, that democracy, development, and security everywhere, but particularly in this region, goes hand in hand. Without one of them, securing one of them, the others are doomed to fail. And this has been happening in the region most of the last 2 decades. People have been focusing either exclusively on democracy and development or security, depending where they are looking from and their perspective. But we've been all, in a sense, failed to bring security, democracy, and development to the region. I don't want to talk too much about all these issues, since I'm one of the panelists in the following panel anyway. So let me welcome you all to Kadir Has University, where we have created, I believe, quite a nice focus on regional issues and security issues especially, and still more directly focusing on what we call Eurasia, which more or less Black Sea and Caucasus. We have quite a bit of expertise on this, developed over the last 2.5 years. Let me give you, especially might be interesting for the younger colleagues among us, a couple of initiatives that we've been running here and we continue to run. One is International Neighborhood Symposium. This has been developed by our Center for International and European Studies. It's been taking place last 2 years, and this will be the third year, where we welcome every year at the end of June, beginning of July, for about a week. We welcome young scholars at nearby island here, Heybeliada. It's on the Marmara Sea, and where we take them together with seasoned experts on regional affairs, mostly, again, Black Sea, Caucasus. Last year we included Mediterranean, so it became a dialogue between two seas. So you might be all interested in looking into the details of this initiative. Some of you are already familiar faces from that initiative. I see a couple of friends there. The second initiative that we started, we partnered last year, and we continue to do so, is the Black Sea Young Researchers Fellowship, Young Research Fellowships program, which is supported by Bosch Foundation and Black Sea Trust of German Marshall Fund. Kadir Has University, alongside Turkish International Relations Council of Turkey, is one of the owners of that fellowship now, and we are running it in Secretariat. So you might be again interested in looking into the details of it. Its aim also creating networks among the young or younger scholars of the region. While you are here, apart from, of course, the panels and the, I'm sure, lively and fruitful discussions, we also have for you an opportunity to taste Black Sea art and music. Because tomorrow, the first International Black Sea Music and Art Festival is going to start at Kadir Has University. Tomorrow and the day after, we will have groups from Georgia, Armenia, Macedonia, Ukraine, Greece, and Turkey. We will have concerts, panels on art and culture. So you will have a chance also to go and enjoy at least some of it. And also you might notice when you are walking around the university that Istanbul International Design Biennale is being held. It's going to start on Saturday, and Kadir Has University is one of its venues this year. It's prepared by Istanbul Culture and Art Foundation. So I urge you to go and sample or see part of the biennale that's held at Kadir Has University. And finally, I'm sure you should, not I'm sure, but I'm urging you to create a time to go and see our museum under the university. This is an interesting university on many accounts, but it's unique in Turkey, and maybe one of the few examples around the world that we have our own museum and our own Byzantine system under the university. So we have a sister from 11th century under the university, which houses university's museum. Again, within the museum we have parts of Ottoman Hamam from the 16th century. And we have museum pieces, underground pieces from earlier periods of history up until today. So if you find time, and please do go and see it. It's free, and I'm sure you would be at least enjoy it. Let me finally thank a few people also. First of all, of course, Roy Allison, who bring us together with Academic Swiss Caucasus Network. We are grateful for him suggesting and to bringing us in contact with the net. It was the first ever event was last year, right? Almost a year and a half ago. a small workshop was held in Istanbul, and from then onwards this idea has developed. And of course, a professor, Nicholas Hayos of University of Freiburg and Academic Swiss Caucasus Net, we have to thank for him for partnering with us in this collaboration. Always there are heroes behind this kind of gatherings. Sometimes we forget them at the end to thank them, but let us thank them from the beginning. From the net side, we have to thank Deniz Taflon, who's been instrumental in organizing the events, and from our side, Hande Selimoğlu, a research assistant of International Relations Department, and of course, where's Dimitris? Dimitris is always behind of all this Lexi and Caucasus event at Kadir Has University and his Center for International and European Studies, so let me thank them all. And finally, of course, presenters, keynote speakers, panelists, and inevitably, of course, the attendees and paper givers of this event. Without you, there would have been any event here. So let me thank you all and welcome you to Kadir Has University. I'm sure this will be a very fruitful meeting. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend all the panels, but I will be around, coming and going. Don't mind me, you just continue to talk. When I come, I will butt in and give my opinions about the issues. But let me wish you a very successful 2 days here. Welcome.